Hello and welcome to the stream. Managed to badly fail already by spilling my drink everywhere and forcing myself to completely restart everything. So this is going to get recorded anyway, so in spite of the fact that not many people are watching, I'm going to go ahead. Basically, this is the Age of Empire closed beta. This is Age of Empires Online, the new game by Gas Powered Games, Robot Entertainment and Microsoft. I've had access to the closed beta for a very long time now, and hang on, just make sure that this is definitely working as intended. Okay. And I've been really enjoying the game thus far. So, entrance to the game, this is a full MMO strategy game. You can play a variety of races. You'll be able to buy and purchase new races when the game comes along, but you will also be able to play this game for completely free. There's a microtransaction based model which will allow you to play the game for absolutely free. You won't have to pay a single penny, and to be honest, I think that's a really, really good feature for such a complete and full game. This is a really competent strategy game because it's Age of Empires. It's also a very competent MMO with lots of persistence and lots of really interesting elements to it. And unfortunately somebody's trying to message me on the MSN, but she knows that I can't click it because I'm currently doing the stream. Ooh, here we go. Now this is nice. I haven't seen this before. This is basically a report of all of the economic activity that's been going on in my city since I last started. You'll notice that I've been producing basic resources through my buildings, so I've been producing stone blocks, pine planks, copper ingots, animal hides, grain, etc. Coin is your basic currency. I've got 15 left over from the last quest I've been doing, and Empire points are what in the final game will be microtransactions. So Empire points are virtual money that you can use to spend on reasonably interesting but not necessarily powerful bonuses in the game that increase certain attributes and give you access to certain special types of unit. Obviously those units are still fully balanced, so it's going to be nice and even if you do choose to use them. Excuse me. So, this is my capital city. Here you can see my palace with my throne. The gear hall. Now the gear hall is a good place to start, I think. You can get a sort of gist of what goes on. When you play the game, you go into the normal Age of Empires real-time strategy format. So you've got your town centres, you've got your villages. If you've not played Age of Empires, it's the archetypal real-time strategy. You build a base, you tech up, you produce units, and you try and attack the enemy with the correct counters, etc. But the unique elements of Age of Empires Online are MMO-style persistence. So you might recognise these. These look very much like World of Warcraft. The reason they look very much like World of Warcraft is because that is a very successful MMO formula. You'll notice that it's coloured according to the WoW spec and has similar kind of behaviour. I can take these off, I can apply them to any appropriate structure. So for example, my spearmen have copper breastplates, novices forgotten medals, copper heavy spears, and these things allow these units to be more powerful in the game. So I'll be able to produce these units in a match and they will have the corresponding bonuses, which is a really nice touch, I think. It's not huge. I mean, we're talking 1.2% damage. Admittedly, once you've got epics, that's going to be slightly different. It's enough to make strategy interesting, but not too much that you're going to be completely crushed by somebody who's higher level. If you're a much better player than the other person, you're still going to win. I mean, this is a rare, and it gives me plus 10% damage to my Hippastists Greek words are so annoying. There's a lot of sort of tongue-in-cheek Greek words, and there's a lot of really complicated Greek words. If we go into this store, this store, there's the store stufficium, which you use to store stuff in. Yes, quite. So, that's not actual Greek. They're taking the piss there. This is the general store. I can get base materials which I can use to craft buildings and items and upgrades and bonuses in the long term for the game. I can get special abilities which cost in-game resources but would not normally otherwise be available. So you'll see in my bar up here, if I'm playing in the game, I can pull out bandit archers, which is a really nice ability. I can just make them appear, but there is a cost associated with them in the game, so they're not completely unbalanced. They have a balancing factor. So if somebody has a really powerful special, they will have to pay a corresponding cost in the game, and they will only be able to use it at an appropriate tech level, which is really nice. It balances out the game excellently. I've been building up this capital city over time. You obviously don't start with all of these things. I've produced all of these cities or been rewarded them through quests. So I have an archery school, for example, which allows me to specialise in certain archery related things. These come from the crafting hall, where I decide what schools of artistry I want. Do I want to go into the art of war with archery, cavalry, infantry, or do I want to go into engineering, construction, craftsman, religion? I have craftsman, which allows me to produce pirate fire ships, quite handy. I can also do castle rustler to summon 2 cows, usable as a food resource. Cool down 5 minutes, use 40 gold. And I can then apply more equipment to them and produce equipment using this. So you can have up to 2 of these at any given time. So you have to specialise in certain things. So I specialise in archery and crafting. But you can specialise in whatever you want, and I think you can swap them out very quickly if you decide to change your mind because the metagame changes or whatever. This is the blueprints, which I can then use to build more buildings, and the inventory, just like WoW, has a good description of all of the items which I have, and if I hover over this blueprint for a building, we can see that I need 100 pine planks and 50 copper ingots to do it, and that will produce stone blocks over time. And here's one I built earlier. No, here's one I built earlier. Mason's Workshop produces stone blocks and other materials. It is currently going ahead and doing that. Every 30 minutes I get an extra stone block, and so over, I believe it's over 2 days, so 48 hours or 50 hours more specifically, you will get a maximum set of stone blocks. So you have to come back to the game every 2 days to maximise your economy, but otherwise you don't have to look after it. It sort of does it all for you in the background. So long-term decisions are quite important. You need to decide where you want your economy to go in the long term, and I think this is really nice. It's a good crafting system. You don't have to run around picking flowers. I'm looking at you, wow. And yeah, it's not a waste of time. The crafting system is interesting enough because there's enough elements to it, but it's also not tedious. So this is good. Anyway, let's try and get into a quest. Now, all the quests I'm doing are about my level, so I could get flattened. You'll notice that I'm level 7 at the moment. I believe there's 40 levels. I could be wrong. I'm currently level 7. I've had quite a couple of accounts now in the beta. Obviously they clear it out every so often and only let you access certain things at certain times, so I'm currently level 7. I've not gotten this far before because I've just been playing it quite lightly, so what I'm going to be facing in the future is a mystery. However, I'm very close to level 8, I notice, which is great because then I'll be able to show you the tech tree, which is in here, and you can see that I'm in the second age. I have Iron Age technologies, and I can do lots of things in here, but I'll show you that when we get to it, because after this quest I should be at level 8 and we can see about producing some new stuff and getting some new upgrades and generally making my capital much shinier and prettier. Good to see you. Sikyon is in the middle of a real mess. Mycenae is raiding their villages and the followers of Ortholicus fled us to take root in their lands. Far outside, blah 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 blah. We cannot get an army there in time, but you can lead the villagers to mounting a defence of whatever they have on hand. Great. Well, presumably by the time I get there, they'll have berries. So we're going to be throwing berries at the opponents. Now this is interesting because it mentions the advisor hall. The advisor hall is what allows you to recruit special characters who then give you special abilities. These are characters associated with the microtransaction model. I don't have access to the advisor hall. I've never seen the advisor hall to date, so it'll be really interesting to see. It's time quest, so I have to survive for 10 minutes. I'll get XP, I'll get loot, but I don't necessarily know what loot it is. It's got quite a good loot system. It's quite sensible. You know, you level up, you get better loot. You're low level, you don't get such great loot, but it's always relative to your level, so who cares. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go check my messages and then we shall go into a game. Okay, let's do this. No, that's clicking close. I meant to click accept. That was stupid. Farewell! Okay, so we can go to the map. Oh, whilst I'm here, I'll just point out that there is PvP, there's quick match PvP, and there's party PvP. You can't pick and choose who you're fighting against, so you can't set up custom games, but you can get in a party with your friends. I presume the reason for that is for competition, to stop people just fighting against their own clones and thereby always winning and getting lots of experience for it. I haven't tried the PvP yet. I want to get a little bit more confident at the game before I do that, but we will definitely be seeing some PvP in the future. And ooh, I have more pine planks. Excellent. I'm a bit of a crafting hole. So this is the world map of Greece. So it's not a world map at all, it's a map of Greece. It's a world map of Greece. It's a Greece map of the world. And that's simultaneously the people we're fighting, but also our trading partners. I'm not quite sure how the logic works there, but let's not go into it too much. You can go there and purchase new gear, go and trade with them, blah 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 blah. It's much like the city we just came from. So let's go into the quest. Begin quest. Elite mode. I presume that makes it more difficult, lets you get more XP. Haven't tried that, but that seems like a good idea if you can go back and do the missions on a much harder mode. And co-op. I was going to say every quest, not every quest, most quests in the game can be done co-op, and this is really cool because you can play the game with a friend or with a few friends, and it should add a lot of fun to the game. That is definitely a major selling point. Creating game. Because of the graphics style of this game, everything is very, very quick. Admittedly, I have a decent machine, but everything is exceptionally quick anyway, just by the nature of it. Let's see, Advisor Hall must survive. Okay, do I have... What? I don't have... Oh. I actually don't get a village centre on this mission. It's like, it's tower defence. Oh my god. Yeah, the variety of missions in this is really quite clever. They have a good mix of different styles, and yeah, this is a tower defence. Whoa, I was not expecting that at all. That's both interesting and really weird at the same time. I really was not expecting this. So I was going to say I could show you the normal gameplay if it wasn't for this, but this is the normal gameplay. There's a ton of variety in this